So they never actually found any mummies in the Great Pyramids. Like none at all. So what were they then? What were they used for? Welcome, my name is Nicola and today I just thought we would start off doing something a bit different. I love theories. I don't want to say the C word, but I love theories and all of those sort of things. So I really just wanted to sit down and do like a Theory Thursday where I discuss the theories that have been on my mind recently, because I'm quite a thinker. I really like to think outside the box, so I just thought this would be fun. So the first topic I wanted to, I'm just like at the Caro, just at the Caro, so that's why if you see me looking around it's because there's cars everywhere and I have anxiety and I like panic that people are going to think I'm being weird, like filming myself in the car, but that's okay. The first topic I wanted to talk about was the pyramids of Giza. So Egypt, in particular ancient Egypt, is by far my most favourite thing to talk about in the whole wide world. I've been obsessed with Egypt for the longest time, ever since I was really little. You know, you had those weird girls who were like horse obsessed and had like books on horses and stuff. I was the weird girl that was Egypt obsessed, and I had all these books on ancient Egypt and I was just obsessed. So I thought we would start it off with something that's really near and dear to my heart. And also, side note, before we get into the main bulk of the video, me and my partner are getting married this year, so it's, I think, or maybe 80 days away now. It's very close, and we're actually going to Egypt for our honeymoon. I'm so excited. So we're going to Egypt in September, so I'm going to be vlogging the whole thing. So if you really want to see someone traveling to Egypt, be sure to subscribe, because those videos will be up in September or like a bit after September. I better keep an eye on the time, otherwise I'm probably going to sit here talking to you guys and I'm going to miss my appointment. So a lot of people out there are starting to believe and have the thought that the three Great Pyramids, so when I'm talking in this video, I'm talking about the three main pyramids on the Giza Plateau. There are obviously many pyramids found in Egypt. I'll show you photos in a minute, but I'm not talking about all of them because some of them did actually have mummies inside of them, but they were actually in really bad ruin. So I'll get to that in a minute. But the three the Great Pyramids of Giza actually had no mummies found in them whatsoever. Basically, if they were tombs, why were they not decorated and they have no hieroglyphs in them whatsoever? Anyway, so they're basically just saying that usually the tombs in Egypt are very highly decorated, or they at least have hieroglyphs depicting like whose tomb it is, whereas the Great Pyramids have no known hieroglyphs found in them whatsoever. If they do have any, it's been like graffitied. So it's just basically saying that, you know, if they were tombs, they would have been really beautifully decorated and had hieroglyphs at the very least, whereas the pyramids are bare. There are no hieroglyphs or anything on the walls whatsoever. There's nothing there. Also, there's no real like main record of them being built, and there's no hieroglyphs anywhere or anything like that just depicting like how they built it, or like, you know, that the ancient Egyptians actually did build them. So that like begs another question. I know that they did say that there was like papyruses or something, or like a logbook of like a worker or like someone high up that was like documenting building the pyramid, or not really, it was something about like getting stone blocks in, but you know, that's not necessarily saying that they built it. That's just saying that maybe they were doing like, what's the word, restorations or something on it. Like, it's not necessarily that they were building the pyramids, like they could have already been there. Anyway, and yeah, we're still to this day, we're not quite sure how they successfully built the pyramids, and if we tried to build them ourselves we would fail. No one in this day and age can work out how to build the Great Pyramids and how they were built. We just don't know. And like, it's just, surely there'd be someone alive that would be able to work it out if they could do it with their little chisels and axes way back then, surely we could figure it out now with all of the machinery and stuff that we have. And also their building technique actually got worse instead of better. So obviously the Egyptians continued to build pyramids for quite some time after like the Great Pyramids, and they got worse. So it's really interesting, the timeline as well. So Egyptologists always say that the very first pyramid that was built was the Step Pyramid of Giza. I think I'm saying that right, I'm not quite sure, I'm really bad at pronouncing things. But the Step Pyramid of Giza was the very first pyramid ever built in Egypt. That's their timeline that they still stick with today. And you can have a little look, I'll insert like a photo, but you can clearly see, obviously the technique's quite different. It's a step pyramid and not a traditional pyramid. But not only that, it also, they used smaller bricks. They didn't use like gigantic megalithic bricks, they used these smaller bricks. Then the next pyramids they say were built were the Great Pyramids of Giza. So on the Giza Plateau, the pyramids that everyone, you know, knows about. So then they were built next using these massive megalithic blocks that like how the hell did they get them into place and like pile them, you know what I mean? Like they went from using these tiny bricks, like mud bricks basically, to these massive megalithic blocks. And then all of the pyramids after that, they went back to using small mud bricks. Why would you know, if something turned out like so amazing, well built, why would you then go and change it to going back to small mud bricks again from like these big blocks that obviously worked a lot better? And also, all of the other pyramids using these small mud bricks are in ruin. They're in such bad condition. The Step Pyramid of Giza is actually not too bad, but it's technically in ruin. Whereas opposed to the Great Pyramids, they are in ruin as well. They're not like how they used to be originally, but they're still far more intact than any of these other pyramids. And I will show photos and provide like sources and all of that. So that just begs the question. It's clear when you look at all of this evidence that the ancient Egyptians, sure, they built pyramids, but they were not the ones that built the Great Pyramids. I 100% believe that. They did not build the Great Pyramids. They did build pyramids because they moved to the land and they saw these Great Pyramids and they wanted to replicate that. But they failed every time to replicate it, and all of their pyramids are in ruin. Whereas the ancient, you know, Great Pyramids are pretty much intact. They have not collapsed or anything. If they're not tombs, then what are they? And if the ancient Egyptians did not build them, then who did? So obviously there are no answers for this. We only have theories. That's why Theory Thursday. We're just talking about theories here. And some of them are going to be like a bit far-fetched. So just stay with me for a second. I'm about to go up now, so we'll continue this when I come back. Okay, I'm back, so we can continue. And I'm like, it's really hot. It was really hot in there. So we were just getting on, I believe, to talking about like the theories. So let's have a chat about that. There are a few different things that it could be. Obviously one of them being an ancient civilization that we don't know about because they were wiped out. That's a very like common and popular belief, that there were people before us and before like the ancient Egyptians, like older than that. And these days we are finding out that the earth is actually a lot older than what we thought it was, and a lot of the things like the Sphinx is actually thought to be a lot older than what they think it is. So the Sphinx was there before like ancient Egyptians got there. So there would have had to be a civilization more ancient than that got wiped out, and they are who built it. And the common theory is that they built it as a power source. So there is a video, I'll try and link it below, that explains it a lot better than I'll probably explain it right now. But there are aquifers under the pyramids. So they're like these little tunnels that take water. And the little shaft in the Great Pyramid goes down into the earth. And basically the pyramid is just built out of this substance that can carry electricity. And obviously we know now that water can generate electricity if like used the right way. So basically the pyramid is like this massive power source, similar to that of like Nikola Tesla and his, like, fun fact, we actually have the same name. In Eastern European European. In Eastern Europe, Nikola is actually pronounced Nicola, not Nicola. So my name is Nicola, and Tesla's name was actually pronounced Nicola as well, not Nicholas. So that's just a little fun fact for you. And basically Nikola Tesla had like this tower called the Tesla Tower, and it generated electricity and could send like sounds and all of that. Basically the pyramid is rumoured to have worked in the same way. There is just a missing link, so we actually don't know. What the fuck is this crazy bitch doing? There's one part of the pyramid that actually we don't know about, so it's this sarcophagus bit. So something would have had to be there to help control the power or generate it properly, but they just don't know what it was. A lot of people think that it was the Ark of the Covenant. A lot of people think that it housed the Ark of the Covenant, and that's what generated the power. So there's that theory there. So big theory, like long story short, is that the pyramids generate power and supplied power to ancient Egypt back in the day. Obviously there's no like proof of that. There is a lot of the science behind it backs up, so I really encourage you to watch the video because they just explain it a lot better than I ever would be able to. So just look into that. And then the second one is, if you believe in the Anunnaki and you know who the Anunnaki are, this is related to them. If you don't know who they are, I will do a separate video on them because that's something that I personally think has a lot of like a lot of substance to that, and there's a lot of like backup to that like Anunnaki theory. But basically the Anunnaki are these ancient aliens. I hate using the word ancient aliens because people always think that that's crazy, but the Anunnaki were like these ancient like alien astronauts. Obviously they looked like us, okay? Don't think about a little green man. They looked like us, okay? If they were real, they looked like us. So the Anunnaki built these pyramids in sort of like as a nod to their civilization, but also as like a landing beacon. Similar to like airplane towers that we have now, it was used like in the same way basically. And they also generated power. That one sort of makes a little bit of sense because when you look into descriptions of the pyramids back like when they were in their full potential and their full glory, they actually had this shiny, I don't remember what the rock is called, but a shiny rock, and it was polished. And when the sun hit and reflected off of it, you could see it from mountains in, was it Iraq? Mountains in one of those districts, but also you could see, that it's rumored that you could have been able to see them from space. So if you could have seen them from space, it would have been so easy for them to work out where to go and land. That's a bit out there and far-fetched, I guess, if you're hearing that straight off the bat, but if you think about it, like, of course they would have all this like amazing technology, but at the end of the day, if they're sort of like us, like we have amazing technology too, but we still need things like those towers and airports to tell planes where to go. Like they can't just like look down and be like, okay, I'm gonna go there, and go off like the instruments in their plane. They do need guidance still, so that could still be similar for aliens back in the day. They may have needed that sort of technology as well to some degree to know where they're going. So there is some substance to that as well. Now, do I personally think that they are tombs? I don't know. I think that there are, obviously there's stuff coming out all the time that there are voids in the pyramid that they can't, like there's chambers or something in the Great Pyramid that they're yet to explore that they've recently found. And look, we don't know, I feel like I can't really make a good judgment call until they go in there and explore and see what they find. For all we know, that void that they've just found could be hieroglyphics everywhere. It could be well decorated. It could have a mummified body in there. That could be the real like tomb area. We won't know until we actually get in there and explore more. We just won't know. And then also, they could go in there and find nothing. So I think until they explore the pyramid a little bit further and they find what's in that void, I can't really make up a personal opinion. At the moment, with what we know, I 100% don't think that they're tombs. I think that they were used for something else. I think the power source theory has a lot of science behind it, and it would just make sense. Like, a lot of people that go inside the pyramid say that it feels like you shouldn't be in there, you shouldn't be walking around, but we don't know. I really hope that they're not tombs, because I feel like a lot of me will be let down if it comes out that that void is where a mummy is. I will be really like gutted and a little bit disappointed, because I am a thinker and I want to believe that, you know, we were put here, we weren't just like, we didn't just evolve to be here. I really want to believe that, you know, we were put here, or that an ancient alien civilization had a hand in our creation. I really just don't want to, and I just think the pyramids, like, there's just so much unexplained about it, and I just really find it hard to believe that the ancient Egyptians built that with like chisels and stuff. So I don't have an answer, unfortunately. If that's what you're watching this for, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to talk about that theory, because the pyramids not being tombs is a big theory that's always on my mind, and I really hope that they aren't tombs. I think that they're not at the moment, but they could be stuff that comes out later on that proves me wrong, and I'm here for it if it happens, and I'm here for it if we get proof that they're not tombs. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This camera's about to, like, the battery's about to die, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up really quickly. If you really like this video, please subscribe. I waffle on and like talk too much a little bit, but hopefully you guys enjoyed and my face isn't too red. It's really hot in here right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.